incorporating listening into this process. Right? We're doing listening sessions. We're listening. And one of the things we have to make sure happens is that listening has to require us to demand that there's evidence that we've been heard. It's really, really important, and we can do that, but we have to understand that that has to be part of the process. If you're going to come into community and you're going to listen, I'm going to hold you accountable for making sure that you've heard me and you've done something. Right? So holding us accountable in doing that. The third thing is we need to be really aware of the fact that this process should involve some transfer of power. And what do I mean by that? There should be something in this work that allows community, allows us to know that we can engage differently tomorrow because of this work than we did today. And then the last thing is that whatever output comes out of this needs to be co-produced. So we need to make sure that we are part of this solution. We are engaged, our voices are heard, something changes, there's a transfer of power. And I would point us to the great example of what are community health centers. Because I think that there's a fundamental part of how we're organized at a place like Academic Center or any of the other amazing community health centers across the country that really fosters that. And so we can take these same principles, such as, yes, I'm the president and CEO of Academic Center, but my boss is the community. Why do I say that? Because by design, 51% of my board are made up of individuals who receive services and live in the community. That's a fundamental part to me about getting to the solution. So when we think about institutions that can really make a difference, want to hear us and want to really generate evidence to show that we've been heard and make sure that things change, let's make sure that we are organizing from a governance standpoint, that we are driving those decisions. Really, really important. The other thing is that at a community health center, I can't decide that something like midwifery is not profitable, so I'm going to stop doing it. I have to know that I've got to provide a range of services that aren't just about access, but they're about approachability. My background is I'm a newborn intensive care doctor, and I worked side by side with midwives and obstetricians most of my career. And I can tell you it's that diversity in approach that creates a pathway for everybody to know that they can get to the solution that they're looking for in that interaction. And once we cut off elements of that, there are people who aren't going to have the same sense of it being approachable and aren't going to be as engaged or engageable. So that's a critical part of what we do, which I think needs to be incorporated. So to sum it up, one, we need to make sure if you're going to come listen to me, show me that you heard it. Two, make sure you're going to give me something that makes sure that I have some power in this. And three, let's make sure that we structure this in such a way that formally I'm engaged and involved and can be a big part of the decision making. And that's speaking as us as community. And so I offer you that. And the last thing I must say, I don't know if anyone else saw the inauguration of Claudia Gay. That was just an amazing thing to think that Harvard University has a black woman president. And one of the quotes that she said, which I think a lot of people are going to probably be adopted, was just an amazing way to think about this, and I leave you with this, is that she said, let me find this, now needs us so that later has a fighting chance. Let's incorporate that in this work, and that's how we get to success and solutions.
Now needs us so that later has a fighting chance. I said about Claudia Gay's swearing in yesterday, I said 400 years of Harvard's history. I don't think we paused to think about that. 400 years of Harvard's history. The first African American and the second woman to hold that position. The need, as Juan often talks about, for us to be in leadership spaces and places because we can drive policy and drive better outcomes and use our lived experience. Give a round of applause to this woman. Wish we had more time, but we are now going to head down for our keynote speaker, April Holmes, who's just just here, who's going to bring some phenomenal remarks. She said to me as I was walking in, as Makiba introduced me, and Makiba does this thing where she talks about your resume and then says the other person's resume. And I said, my resume is not as impressive as being an Olympic champion. And she said, no, all of us are Olympic champions.
Yes.
So let's go down and listen to our keynote speaker. Thank you.